Hey,
Hey,
y'all.
y'all.
We hope you're not just having a good day, but a great day. Welcome to Advice and Southern Tales. This is for entertainment purposes only. And whatever we say, Amanda, is only our. Okay,
Opinion.
good. That's right. So
You sounded like a teacher.
I guess I've been at the schools today doing a roll and read for the
Yeah,
preschool. And I was in my teacher mode because I've been around all those kids all
you were,
day.
because you go, yeah, that's good.
I enjoyed it because I actually got to see 3 of my former students that I taught, even though it's a different school, they rezoned the school district. I took some selfies. I think that's one of the few selfies I've ever taken because our generation just doesn't go around taking a lot of selfies. Do you take a
Mm-mm.
lot of selfies?
No, but I did
Like when
get
you
taught.
hold, did Lana teach you?
No, the girls from the salon, they knew I wasn't comfortable making pictures.
So how do
They
you do it? You got to hold it up
they
high.
told me, you got to hold it up high, and I never could do those faces like, that. Like, I didn't
Yeah,
look
like,
normal when I did that. I didn't look
yeah.
normal. I looked like, take her out of the picture. But anyway, but they do say if you hold it up. So now when somebody makes a picture of us, like a family picture, not that we have many of those made, when my mama comes to town, I'll always say, John Walker, and he'll hold it even with us. And I'll say, no, hold it up. And then he does. And then that makes you look better.
She came and sat by me at the lunchroom table, and I almost asked the kid sitting across to take the picture. But I thought, no, I can take a selfie, and kids are used to that.
It's hard to, though. I make mine shake too much.
Justin took his family to Europe. They had a little tripod up, and you take a picture, you put the remote in your hand, and that way you don't have to ask somebody. If we had a TikTok shop or we could sell this, he had some of the best pictures. It's
Well,
probably like what you got your phone on right now doing our podcast.
that's what I was thinking.
Remote.
No, if we could demonstrate that, if we could,
Scared.
it means that it would be very easy to use.
The
Yeah.
reason I got so scared when my phone rings because I was noticing that pumpkin behind you. I
Well,
thought it was a headless ghost. It
and
kind of goes in with your wall,
yeah,
and it just looks like a pumpkin's head up in
yeah.
I like your Halloween decorations, though. You girl, you got your candy.
I ain't got no candy yet, but when we was growing up, we had this ceramic shop and you could paint. So I painted that pumpkin, then they glazed it. So I did that. Yeah.
We had a Halloween party at our house every year, and it would usually be about mid-October. I would buy decorations. Well, I just added to my collection every year.
You
I had
would,
those
like when your
orange
kids was
lights.
growing up.
We had some throwdown Halloween parties, but we always made it / Brand's birthday because he was the end of September. I was like, I can't have 2 parties that close together. It was a big deal. Kids got into it too because we did it from the time they were little, and we would do a haunted house. Now, we
Yeah.
kind of went overboard with the haunted house with the children. I feel like I got into the Halloween too much. Got
What'd you
Eddie
do?
to take the chain off his chainsaw, and we made a haunted house down there in the basement. He had this mask on. I looked like Freddy Krueger, and it would scare him. And
I would have
then
thought I was in a bad nightmare.
you probably wouldn't even gone in it.
Wouldn't have.
This is the time I went a little bit too far when kids started crying. We decided the basement was just too messy for us to get cleaned up before the party.
Yeah.
I had a friend that had one of those old white vans, that people drive around in. It's like a used church van that they take the seats out of, and it's old. Got that van, and me and Will and a friend of his, we got those white masks. They were like 99 cents at Party Universe. We had Eddie take the children on a hayride, and they were going around the back of the neighborhood. He had the tractor and the trailer with the hay on it, and we came up in that van with a mask on. We had told 2 of the neighbors to sit on the back, and we was going to kidnap them off of it. I came up on that hayride driving that white van just crazy like, and then they stopped. Will and William ran up and got them off the back of the hayride and threw them in the back of the van. Those kids started crying. I was like, maybe we should have waited till they were teenagers to do this.
Mama was so funny at Halloween because she liked to cut up.
What'd she do?
When people would come to her door, she tried to mess with them.
Remember your mother dressing up like a witch.
She would get on the front porch and have her bucket of candy. Most times she cut a hole in a sheet and put it over her body. She would sit there and act like she was a statue when somebody would come up to get some. When they started to get it, she would grab them. After the word got around, because we lived in a small town, she would go hide in the ditch and then come out and go at them when they were walking by.
That's some of my children's fondest memories.
My daughter, they like Halloween a lot. She even changes out her window treatments in her den and her breakfast room because they decorate for Halloween.
Big thing, man. I rode past this house. These blow-up things were like 3 or 4 stories tall. I'm ashamed because I don't even have a pumpkin by my door.
Didn't have a pumpkin this year either, and that's the first time in forever. Y'all, a good trick on the pumpkin. After Halloween, I would take my pumpkin and put it in a pot in the backyard that the flowers had died and let it disintegrate. Then in the spring and summer, I had the most beautiful plant coming out of that flower pot. It looked like gigantic lily pads, and they were just tiered, and it traveled. I like to get a pumpkin just to do the same thing and have a pretty greenery. Everybody that came to my house said, "What kind of plant is that?" They loved it. And I did nothing. I never watered it. I didn't put dirt on top. I guess the seeds worked themselves down in the dirt, and it did its own thing. I mean, it was beautiful.
Your daddy used to take us in the furniture truck with those rails.
That was after we got too big to trick or treat. I was trying to sneak in there and get some toilet paper to go roll yards. Daddy said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Getting this toilet paper for my friends to go roll a yard." He caught on to that. He said, "I'll take y'all in the furniture truck if you want me to."
I remember.
And that thing had the white bars on the back. We got in the back like we were in jailbreak. He hauled us around and stopped at houses, and we would get out and roll the yard. But back in that day, our people went to help other people clean up their yard the next day, just so we got to have fun that night.
I did that. I let them roll people's yards. I would tell them they did have to clean it up the next day. But
well, that's it. We went and helped too the next day, but it was fun that night. And it is pretty, and it's worthy of pictures.
It really is. I remember we rolled our yard one year ourselves just because we were having that Halloween party. All my decorations were in the back. Because once you come through the gate, I didn't have my pumpkins in on my step. It's like, let's just roll the yard to decorate it. Hey, looks so pretty.
It's a good thing it wasn't COVID year, or you wouldn't have had no toilet paper.
People would have been stealing it out of the yard. You are right about that. Over here where we live, the popular kids get their yards rolled. I think maybe 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, 4 of them. I don't know.
So it's actually a good thing if you get your yard rolled.
Yes, we call it roll night. And they do it for the up-and-coming freshmen going into the 9th grade. One of my friends, her daughter's yard didn't get rolled. Called him. She said, "I'll pay you to come roll her yard." It's funny because that's how Brand and Katie met. Taught her in 3rd grade. And I always thought I picked her out. When they were in the 3rd grade, they were in separate classes, but they met on roll night when they were in 10th grade. They took a selfie, text it to me, and I just wanted to go, "Oh, it's like, that's cute." Yeah. They ended up dating. They never broke up, not once. They got married. Went to same high school, college, everything. Isn't that crazy? And I taught her in 3rd grade. Anyway,
I like Dad like that. From the moment I saw him, I met him at a red light. Like, him and another guy pulled up, and I didn't even have my driver's license. My first cousin had gotten her a new Honda Rabbit with maroon seats. And I said, I'm going to take your car for a spin. And she said, okay. And I probably had my permit, but I didn't have my driver's license. So I took it up around the square. And when I was at that red light by Estes, turning left to go back toward my neighborhood, they drove up beside me in that Trans Am that had the eagle on the front with the T-top. Okay. He said,
Movie.
what's your name? I said, Amanda. He goes, Amanda what? And I said, Pumphrey. I said, my mom and daddy owns that furniture store right there. And he said, okay. Well, I turned on my blinker and went home. I knew who he was. He didn't even know who I was. I went home and my mama said, where have you been? I said, I just met the man I'm going to marry. And my mama said, who? And I told her, and I'll say, blink, bleep, because she said, anyway,
I
she
know
thought I
what
was
she
crazy.
said.
She thought I was crazy, but guess what?
Became true.
That is. I
Dang.
mean, I knew it too.
See him again. Did he call?
That time, he just asked what my name was. And I didn't see him for about a whole nother year. And me and my friend was coming home from church on Sunday night, and we met him and a friend. And back then, we didn't have cell phones. So when we went past him, he saw me, and I guess I saw him. But see, he wouldn't remember none of this. He would think I'm making this up. But he tapped on his brake lights, and I told her, I said, tap on your brake lights. That was like communication.
I was like, yeah.
So we pulled over, and they said, you want to go riding around? And my friend said, no, we got to go home. They expecting us home. And I said, please, let's just go riding around. She said, no. So we get home to her house, and I try to talk her out of let's crawling out the window and leaving without her mom. And they had a long driveway, and she had a straight shift car. And I said, all we got to do is back it out, mash the clutch, and roll it out of the driveway, and go down that hill and let off the clutch midway down, and we'd crank up and go. They wouldn't have ever heard us crank up. And she said, no, I can't do that. I said, okay. Well, the next year, I got homecoming made on the homecoming court, and I needed a car to ride in the parade. So I called their house and asked for him, and he happened to be home. And I told him I needed to borrow his car for the parade.
Did he let you?
Yeah, we made the poster together with the glitter.
Okay. I remember that.
So, I said, I'll wash it. He said, no, I'll wash it. I said, no, I'll wash it. He goes, well, we can wash it together.
Who escorted you? I don't remember that.
I'm the guy that drove me. So y'all can look that up if you're curious, because, I don't need to say names.
When we did that Tom Thumb wedding in kindergarten, he was the one that escorted me because he was the best man and I was the maid of honor.
I was one of the extras. Mama pin curled my hair all the way around with bobby pins, and I had the little roll going around my head with the bangs. You remember? She cut them.
No, Catherine Ann was a flower girl on 2 or 3 weddings, and she loved doing that. I've been a maid of honor 6 times. It
Really?
shows y'all I'm a good friend. I don't even think I've ever been a bridesmaid. I just think I'm always the maid of honor. One time I was a matron of honor. That didn't have a big wedding because he was divorced, and Mama didn't think I should have a big wedding. Plus, we couldn't afford it because Daddy had died, and she was a school teacher. We just went and got some magnolia leaves and from people's trees to decorate the little chapel. We didn't do a church. We had some punch and nuts up in the fellowship hall. Served the cake.
And you might have had some mint.
You had those. So I even borrowed my wedding dress. It was a friend of mine, and I did get me a little veil made. Told me I could wear it, and I wasn't that disappointed. I thought it was probably nicer than what we could have gone and bought.
My dress came from the snooty owl. And I went to the justice of the peace. I didn't want to have no attention.
My sisters were my maid of honors. Sharon and Justin were the little ushers. I think Eddie did have a best man, and that was it. Before we got on the podcast, I had been walking my dogs. Amanda had been walking her dogs. And I was talking about, dang, man, I hear the bug truck coming. Like, this is going to make me have cancer. I hate it when that thing comes. It's blowing poison in my face. See, the county truck, it comes by, but now it does not blow out like the bug truck we grew up with.
You got out on your bicycle, and when it came by, and it was in like a sawed-off van, like it looked like it was cut in two.
Yes.
And that thing blew out so much smoke, and we would get on our bicycles and chase it down the road.
It looked like clouds were on the ground and we were in the middle of them. Surely our parents didn't know we were doing that. In this day and age, that would classify us as dumb and dumber. If you ride your bike behind the bug truck and it's putting out a big cloud, you might be a
Don't
redneck,
breathe it.
and you might get cancer. So we may
And
have an action lawsuit one day.
look, I can still remember the way it smelled.
It only came in the
Yeah.
summer. Forgot our sponsor break again. So tonight we are sponsored by Leah Thaggart Swimming Lessons. Remember, safety before swimming.
Right.
Guys, if you have enjoyed the podcast or you're still with us, please subscribe and like our podcast, or don't. If you like it or subscribe, that will encourage us to keep doing it, because we're getting better about getting on here, aren't we?
I think we are, and I think we're beginning to get more comfortable.
Yeah, we love y'all. Bye.
All right. Bye.